Someone must have awoken the spirit of Rodney Munka, I guess. Welcome to Freedom March. Happy Monday. Bradley Roll, how are you?
Well, I'm doing well.
Yeah, that's how you know the show live.
Yes.
That is how you know the show is live.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm so happy to be here on this Monday morning. Bradley Roll, the spiritual advisor, joins me.
Monday morning.
What is the day, Bradley?
It's Monday afternoon, actually.
So Monday.
Yes.
Well, I might have just wake up.
Okay.
Or, right, the mercies of God are new every morning, and I might feel that the mercies are so new to me that it might still be Monday morning.
I can tell you, as hard as it is, it's not morning. It's afternoon, heading to evening.
Wow. What did you get into this weekend, Bradley?
I did I did some work, did some landscaping work. I didn't go anywhere. I kind of rested somewhat.
You didn't attend the Pulled Pork Festival?
No, I forgot.
How did you forget the Pulled Pork Festival, Bradley?
I just saw it just now.
Spanish senoritas were there.
How was it?
Spanish senoritas were there.
Spanish ladies? Okay.
You hear me say anything but any ladies? What I say?
Senoritas, yes.
Yes, that's what I say.
Ladies.
You hear me say anything but any
Spanish
ladies?
women.
Spanish senoritas were there.
So what does that have to do with this Pulled Pork Festival?
All kind of pork was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How was
So
it?
it was
How did the
delightful.
pork taste? What kind of pork you had? Jerk pork?
Well, I was pretending to be a
Big
Rasta
pork?
man. I was pretending to be a Rasta man.
Barbecue pork?
So I didn't dabble with the pork. But,
Okay.
you know, I had some pastries, a brownie. I had a few of the native drinks, yeah. It was wonderful.
Okay.
As I moseyed around, shook some hands, met some of the organizers, and it was a wonderful...
So it was successful then?
Well, it was a success as far as my eye can see, yes. You know, the stage, the stage was well choreographed, and Just Mo did the emceeing. She was
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a wonderful venue. Believe it or not, it actually got pretty cool in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw my friend Chef Richie was also there.
Yeah, I
Always
see a
good
couple
to
of
see
chefs,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was actually a pretty decent event. So that was what I did on the weekend. And then I spent all Sunday doing some writing, which I am still trying to finish. Because, you know, the way writing works, spiritual advisors, I don't know how long it took them to write the Bible, but the way writing works is, you know, if it's on, it's on. But when it cuts off, it's off. And so people will see you and they'll think that you are just, you know, pussyfooting around. But you're not. You're actually writing. It's just happening in your mind. Anyway, that's the jingle. Don't go anywhere. We're going to the break. When I get back from the break, who knows what will happen on the next side of the break, but you don't move because we've got more Freedom March planned when we get back. Welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Levin Miller. Thank you for joining us, whether you're listening to us on 103.5 The Beat FM, or on channel 224, or on channel 112, that's on cable, or on Flow TV, or if you're listening to us over on ILTV Studios on Facebook, wherever you choose to listen. Thank you for joining us here on Freedom March. Again, Bradley Rowell, the spiritual advisor here at the main studio. And Bradley, after a long weekend full of pork and Cuban senoritas,
Wow.
what does Holy Scripture have for us?
Yeah, well, this weekend, the Churches of Christ here on the island of the Providence and, of course, Freeport and other islands, they had a series of lectureships.
Okay.
And, of course, the lessons, of course, were centered around trying to duplicate the first century church in the 21st century.
Okay.
And for some, that may seem difficult, but it's not. If you look at the pattern, there's a pattern in the New Testament that shows us what the first century church did. And, of course, we can actually duplicate that today.
Okay.
And the scripture that I'm going to look at today is basically that hallmark passage that basically shows you exactly how do you get this first century duplication. It's in Matthew 28, 18 to 20. This is like the gateway. These few passages are like the gateway to understanding or to seeing the first century church duplicated from first century to 21st century. Here's the words of Jesus after his resurrection. It says, then Jesus came to them and said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. So if Jesus has all authority, it leaves no authority for no one else. Jesus, he has all authority. He says he has all authority. He has the authority in heaven and on earth. He says, now therefore go and make disciples of all nations. Not some, all. Baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. And teach them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. What is interesting is Jesus told his disciples to teach them to obey everything I have commanded, not Moses. Mm-hmm. You can't teach them what Moses say, because Jesus is greater than Moses. Jesus is greater than the law. Jesus is greater than the teachings of Judaism. He says, therefore, go and make disciples not only of the Jews, but he says, go and make disciples of all nations. So the gospel is for everyone. And then he says, and after, a part of making disciples is baptism. A part of your discipleship is being baptized. He says, go, therefore, as you go in your life, as you go, make disciples of all nations and baptize them in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teach them to obey everything I have commanded you. Now, for your preacher, I want you to ask him this question. What does it mean? Why does Jesus say, teach them to obey everything I have commanded you? Because there are going to be some people teaching some things that Jesus did not command. So when he says, teach them to obey everything I have commanded you, it's an inclusive statement, and it's also an exclusive statement. What it means is that all the things that Jesus Christ taught the disciples, that is what they taught, and all the things that he didn't teach, that is what they didn't teach. It's inclusive and it's exclusive. So if you want to understand, or if you want to see the New Testament church pattern, then you would find that strictly in the teaching of Jesus Christ and the New Testament. Why is it that the Church of Christ doesn't use instruments in their worship? It's because it is not authorized by the New Testament. You have to go to the Old Testament for that authorization. Matthew 28, 18 to 20, the Great Commission. The Word of God is always and always blessed. Thank you, Medusa.
So what do you say to people who say that their voice is an instrument? Do you know Wendy?
Yeah, your voice could produce music.
Yeah,
you understand that?
You know that there are people that actually go to Berkeley School of Music, and their voice is the instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't go to learn the trumpet or the saxophone. They go and they use their voice and they learn vocal training and vocal range and vocal pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why if you look at the New Testament, the specific command in the New Testament is to sing. And then it says that the melody, you make melody in your heart unto the Lord. You don't make melody under anything instrumental. It says sing and make melody in your heart unto the Lord.
Okay. All right.
Interesting indeed.
Well, we'll look into it some more and
Definitely.
see if we're able to find at least one string instrument in the New Testament.
So yeah, duplicating. See, if you look at the first century church, the first century church had some particular markings, and it distinguishes them from these other churches that came hundreds of years later on. Like say, for instance, when it comes to baptism, the first century church, their mode of baptism was immersion.
Right, we still immerse in the Church of God.
But there are some people who sprinkle, and they try to justify it by using passage of scripture.
As a matter of fact, they used to make a little bit of fun about that baptism. They used to, some fellas say, I went down to the water to be baptized, but my heart wasn't right. I gone down as a sinner, and when they plunge me under the water, and they bring me back up, I come up as a wet sinner.
Yeah, but you have to repent before you baptize.
Yeah.
So there's some prerequisites prior to baptism.
Yeah.
And that is what the first century church
Wow.
practiced, because on the day of Pentecost, when the Jews asked after they were guilty of crucifying Christ, Peter made them get them to understand, listen, he says, let all the host of Israel know shortly that God has made this same Jesus whom you've crucified both Lord and Christ. So they recognized that they were the ones who crucified Jesus. So then they asked Peter, they say, men and brethren, what shall we do? Okay, now we realize we're guilty. Now, what do we do? Peter says, repent and be baptized. So repentance is a prerequisite to baptism. You just can't just say you want to be baptized. No, you gotta, there's some things you gotta do.
So that's when the testimony said, I went to the water.
Yeah.
The water was cold. It chilled my body, not my soul.
Yeah.
And now I'm a soldier
right. And so,
in the army.
And it's interesting that you said that, because this act of baptism, it has nothing to do with you taking a bath.
It's symbolic.
A spiritual significance.
It's symbolism.
Right. So what you're doing is you're reenacting the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus
For the
Christ.
world to see, because that is the testimony of the
Well, it isn't for the world to see either.
It is for those who bear witness to see.
Well, I can show you.
That's the reason you shouldn't be baptized privately.
But I can show you where there were private baptisms in the New Testament.
Who got baptized privately?
You remember the Ethiopian eunuch? Only him and Philip was there. Nobody witnessed that.
Well, wasn't that because of some religious
No.
hiccup that he had?
No. This man was returning from Jerusalem and going back to Ethiopia. And of course,
Philip was running out of time.
God saw his heart, and of course the Spirit told Philip to go and join himself near this chariot, and he did. And after preaching Jesus, as they went on their way, they came to a certain water, and the eunuch says, see, here's water. What's going to hinder me from being baptized?
Yeah, and Philip said, come, let's go now.
No, Philip says, if you believe with all your heart, you may. So he answered and said, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of the living God. Right. And at that point, Philip commanded his chariot to stand still. Both he and Philip went down into the water.
And Philip bore witness. But Philip bore witness.
Yeah, but there were only those two.
Well, listen, once there was a witness.
Yeah. But baptism isn't to show the world. It's an act of faith that actually shows that you're being obedient to the call. And then, of course, you're being united with Christ in baptism. And then you're raised with him through the power of God who raised Jesus from the dead. It's a very powerful thing. Amen. Absolutely.
Indeed. So outside of that, here's what's been happening around here. Nothing's been happening around here. I see Pookie them are at it again, spiritual advisor. Boy, Pookie
Just
them.
recently this afternoon, I understand two males were shot.
Yeah, but they are both alive. And I'm told that someone was shot yesterday, and he too is alive. But someone was unalived yesterday at around 8 o'clock in the Bamboo Town constituency. That's over there in Jones Height. That's what we would call it when I was a boy. Which is interesting, because that's a very quiet, ordinarily low-key. Cars don't even go that way. So to hear crime happen up in the back there, that's right in the back of the Anglican All Saints.
Where's this? Oh, East Street South.
Yeah, All Saints.
In the back of City Main Market?
Yeah, somewhere up in the back there. And there's very...
That's Jones Heights, eh? Is
Jones Heights, yeah. And there's very little, movement, activity there. I don't even think there are very many young people that live around there. So to hear murder happening around there is quite unorthodox, right? And I remember those were the areas that I took in my former life when I was a young parking boy. We would walk up and down in the back there. That was in the days of the Swamper Dogs. Do you know anything about that?
No, but back in the day, we went into the South Beach area, especially the swamp area. We went to pick pigeon plum.
Well, shortly after that, when all the pigeon plums had gone, there came a group called the Swamper Dogs, right? Pinewood Garden Swampers. And so they would kind of infect that whole area there, Tom and Cracker and those guys. And really and truly, there was no crime then. Little shakedowns of parking boys and that kind of stuff. The most violent thing is someone with a box cutter. But to hear gun violence in that area, it's just unusual. I've been around there for maybe 30 years. I can't recall in my own life history.
Plum, cocoa plum. I always get those two confused. And there's a cocoa plum. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but again, like I'm saying, so it's interesting to see the corners of the city or the capital that crime will seep into. As these young men become a little more misguided, etc., etc. I also understand that there is, in fact, a woman associated with the killing of the police reserve inspector.
Who was charged, was she?
She's set to be charged. And that brings me to the point that I want to make here today. Because Spiritual Advisor, for a very long time, I had told people that a lot of these murders, in my view, are tied to relational issues. Think about this. You lay down by Sawfans last night, 11 o'clock, right? You leave in Sawfans house 5:30 in the morning. How could Pookie possibly know that you were coming outside at 5:30 in the morning? How? And if Pookie that good, I would like for Pookie to tell me what the next 5 ball could be, because whoever win that bogus 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 on the weekend, they had to get that one straight from the Obeah woman. You saw that?
No, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, you can't convince me. You call the Obeah woman in Haiti and she sent that straight off the mountain. It ain't no way you just guessed that. But you would have to have that kind of luck to just know that Pookie could be outside. Other than, and I think about many young men that I know that were killed at quite inordinate times of the morning. Leaving his girlfriend house at 7 o'clock.
So
leaving his girlfriend house at 7:30. Sometimes you'll find he's leaving the girlfriend house and he had a whole wife, depending on who the story about, right? Sometimes you'll find out he's leaving the wife house and they had a whole girlfriend, depending on who the story about, right? But I've always said that when the police do their locking up, I wish there was a way for them to obtain warrants for the cell phone of the girlfriends, man. Because I'm sure
there's some communication there.
Many abetment charges need to be made. The only way Pookie could know that Bradley Roll is leaving from by Sawfans at 0600 is if when Bradley get up at 0400 and tell Sawfans he was ready to leave, she did to him what Delilah did to Samson and say, Bradley, don't go later on. And of course, Bradley is a man taken by his own ambition and desire. He lays back down. And then she goes as if she on TikTok or Facebook or one of these things, and she sends the coded message, leaving now. And she deletes that message, so if he grabs the phone, he sees nothing. And then he get up, he start putting on his tennis, and she lends him affection, right? Because once a woman lends affection to a man, most men are incapable of escaping the affection of a woman, eh? So she lends him her affection, only to stall him for another 12 minutes. The perfect amount of time for Pookie to get in place. Now Pookie is in place and is lying in wait. And someone that would have ordinarily gotten away with his life this morning is now the target of a precision ambush. Why? Because some woman orchestrated his demise. And they can't tell me that this ain't what happened. They can't tell me this ain't what happened.
You have to prove it though.
And that is why I want us to move to a place where the courts are able to subpoena people's cell phones, because I suspect a large number of these women. That is what I suspect.
They're involved.
Largely. Because there's just no... And if you've ever done law enforcement intelligence gathering, what you will know, Bradley Roll, is that in order to get information on Bradley Roll, to get 2 hours of decent intelligence on Bradley, we need to case him for about 2 weeks to know where he goes on Friday, where does he go on Thursday, what does he do on Tuesday. We got to case you for about 2 weeks. How are you telling me Pookie them just this good? That Pookie just know that Bradley is going to be sitting on the porch at 4:30 in the night. How does Pookie just know that?
He's been gathering intelligence himself.
Or Pookie gal selling them out. Because no one knows better than your gal where you is every single day of the week. And if your gal don't know where you is, there's a simple answer to that for those of you, because I hear the critics at home saying, well, I still know where he is all the time. That's because you ain't he gal. But he gal know where he is, I promise you that. And so, these are the things that you have to think about, spiritual advisor. These are the things that I thought about when I see, because it just.
But this young lady being charged, she was a part of the plan. It isn't like
I'm not, and that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, she is a part of the
It doesn't
plan.
surprise me. More than likely, when the story is told, you'd be surprised how deep into the plan she was, and how much of that man's information she has gathered, because men like to borrow the affection of women.
You think she may know the deceased?
I would not. That would not be surprised at all. That wouldn't surprise me any at all.
I can tell you one thing: the way she appears seems not to suggest that she's that kind of person. But seeing a photo, you would never think.
Beloved, garage make for car to park.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
She does have an innocent appearance.
Garage make for car to park. You agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so whenever a car park in garage, who shock?
Yeah, that's deep.
Unless you're talking
yeah.
about the fire station in Freeport where they build the fire station with the fire truck can't fit in. But I could tell you this, as long as the fire truck could fit, beloved.
Yeah.
Fire truck, make to go, inside, fire garage. You agree with that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so what are we talking about? Anyway, so I went in the lines early today, and I'll tell you why. It's because I want to do a little consensus, right? And I want to see if the public feels the way that I feel. I know we're going to the break in a minute, so I'll tell you what we're talking about on the next side of the break. But I also want to get this out of the way, spiritual advisor, because you pointed to some things last week on the show. And I've been reliably informed, and I've been advised to inform you, that there are any number of things happening in North Andros, right? And that there is an airport in Fresh Creek, the Fresh Creek Bridge, the Cargill Creek Bridge, the Stafford Creek Bridge are all being redone. There's dredging in Fresh Creek, and that all the airports in Andros
all this going on Andros?
and that it was mentioned in this budget. PPPs is the thing for Andros. That's what I understand. That's what I've been made to tell you all here today, and we'll talk about it on the next side of the break.
This segment of Freedom March is brought to you by Modernistic Garden and Pet Supply. For top quality dog food, shop online at modernisticgarden.com or visit our Palmdale, Carmichael, and Mullet Marathon locations today.
Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Levan Miller. Bradley Rollers in the studio with me. Spiritual advisor, take us to the yard.
Are your dogs hungry and tired of low-quality food? Give them the best. In Modernistic, we carry all the top brands. Taste of the Wild, Diamond, Naturals, Victor, Nutruk, at the lowest prices in town. If you're on a budget, we've got 50-pound bags starting at just $49. And for a limited time, buy any large bag of dog food and get a $10 coupon redeemable on select dog toys and treats. If you can't make it in, shop online at www.modernisticgarden.com and we'll deliver right to your door. Your pet deserves quality. Your wallet deserves savings. Shop in store or shop online today. Hurry. Offer won't last. Thank you, producer.
Thank you very much, Spiritual Advisor. And like I said, I intend to open the lines early today because I want this to be an interactive show because I have some things that have caught my attention over the weekend. And I just want to know how you all feel about them. So the first thing that caught my attention over the weekend, Spiritual Advisor, was the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Minister Keith Bell, who on his feet in the Parliament has shared some sentiments that I agree with. And I continue to wonder, for as long as the FNM has been in opposition, as a matter of fact, I recall that there was a time that Obi Wilchcombe, former Minister of, Social Service, had to dress down the opposition's leader of business in the House of Assembly. And my question is not why hasn't he been relieved of his seat in St. Anne's, because I understand the constitutionality around that, but why do they leave him as the opposition's leader of business? I mean, there are any number of people in the House of Assembly that could be the leader of opposition business. As a matter of fact, before they lost Hiram Lewis, even he, in my view, would make a more palatable leader of opposition business. But there is a rank tenor of racism on the lips of the leader of the opposition business in the House of Assembly. And we've seen it spewed toward the Speaker of the House of Assembly.
Oh, okay.
We've seen it spewed toward, at that time, former Member of Parliament for West End and Bimini, Obi Wilchcombe. We've heard it. We've heard him accuse the Prime Minister of having some sort of special affinity towards Haitians, and that's why the Haitian boats were coming in the Bahamas in drove, albeit the Haitian boats have not had a single substantive landing at any point in Dr. King's tenure. They can't land a Haitian seaweed on Raymond King. I've said that before, and I will say it again. Haitian driftwood can't land on a beach as long as Raymond King was the Commodore, right? So I don't know what he was talking about, but you've heard him 4 years now. I mean, just allow spuke to come from his larynx, and I don't know how much more of that is tolerable. I'm not sure. The danger in it is, while I believe it caters to the FNM's base, you know, the people that are a little less dark and a little more privileged, what does it do to the sub-base of the FNM that was created by the Ingram era, you know, the Ingramites? What does it do to those people to have this again, rank level of racism, it appears, displayed so frequently in the Parliament? And so Keith Bell obviously has reached his threshold with it, and here's what he had to say. Again, I'm going to open the phone lines shortly because I just want to talk about the things that got my attention over the weekend, and then you all can tell me how you feel about them, because there's something of particular note that I want to discuss at some point in this show. So let's hear what the minister had to say.
Let me get this off my chest today. I've sat in this Parliament through the grace of God and the people of Carmichael for 4 years. And I listened to the utterances of the member for St. Anne's. It is unacceptable. He should be condemned. And I call on the member for East Grand Bahama. I am on my feet. Let me finish. Let me finish, please. Let me finish. Let me finish. I call on the member for East Grand Bahama, Kalani, St. Barnabas, Long Island, and Marco City as your leader to get you in check.
Yes.
I sat and listened to him making racist remarks in this Parliament.
Wow, yes.
And I ain't say nothing. I ain't saying nothing to you. But But let me tell you today, yesterday I sat in the House. Let me finish. Yesterday, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I sat in this House. And he condemned us for being Christians and quoting scriptures. But I can tell you the devil is a liar. Because if God is for us, who could be against us? Certainly not you, Senance. So take your seat and be quiet, please.
And so that is the member for Carmichael and the Minister of Social Service and Urban Development, Keith Bell, who I share wholly his view regarding the member for St. Anne's. And again, I get it, you can't make him any less the member for St. Anne's, but I do think at some point we should consider whether or not he is to receive remuneration from the public treasury as the leader of opposition business in the House of Assembly. Any thoughts?
So you would have to hear what he would have said to cost the...
Or you could just go and check throughout the entire 4 years of the Parliament.
So you're referring to White Adrian then?
Yes. You could hear when he called the Prime Minister Haitian. You could hear when he says that, you know, the Prime Minister was seen wearing a shirt with some little sailing sloops on it, and next thing you know, sailing sloops start landing all on the beach. I had no clue what he was talking about then. Or you could hear him last week or week before last when he talked about how the Prime Minister was parading around with Buju Banton, you know, politicking, and it's just.
But sometimes, you know, for some of us, this stuff can have a psychological effect in reverse. Because remember now, if it's coming from somebody else who doesn't have that same color, it doesn't come across the same way.
Sure.
So.
Well, you know that racism can only come from a white man. You are aware of that?
Well.
Racism cannot come from a black man.
No, blacks are more racist than whites.
Right? Black people. Racism is a white man thing.
Well,
you cannot be a black racist.
I wonder if you should use the word racism, or should we say prejudice?
No, black people can be prejudiced. White people are racist. You cannot be black because racism is something that is derived from white supremacy. You cannot be black and racist.
But there's only one race.
Well, we could argue that.
And it's a human race.
We could argue that. But racism derives from white supremacy. You cannot be black and racist.
So it's that.
So
okay.
if the statements sound racist, it might be because he's white. But because he's white, he should try to be a bit more measured in his pronouncements.
Anyhow, well, I'll have to go back and see.
Just go through any of the clips over the last 4 years.
Which comments he said would have sounded a bit either negative or derogatory.
Anyone, pick any sitting in the Parliament that you desire. I don't have the temperament to go back through them. So that got my attention, and then of course I saw the leaked meeting of the FNM in South and Central Eleuthera, and don't tell me I shouldn't play it because it's in the media, and I just use my cell phone for more than porn and gossip. But since y'all gossip finding me, and y'all ain't learned yet. See, this is the thing I don't understand. It is politics time. If you're talking to Lincoln Bain on a cell phone, know that he's recording you. If you're talking to Maria Daxon on a cell phone, know that she is recording you. If you're talking to Richard, what his name is again?
Richard Johnson.
Know that he is recording you. All right? And by extension, I'm going to say Mandel or Renwood or anybody else that was on that recorded phone, including my teacher, Miss Williams. So if you talk to anybody that has political ambition in this moment, know that you are being recorded. My pieces of advice is don't say anything that you can't say twice, my brother. Anything you ask leaving on a cell phone, man, please tell it to someone so I could come and say it with the inflections of my voice. So when I say to them that they are despicable ingrain, they could hear my voice say it. And that they are lackadaisical and I think they amount to silt. I want them to hear my voice say it. So there's no need for you to repeat it, so you don't have to record me. You could just call them so I could tell them that they are Neanderthalic at the very least. And that their antics are sophomoric, and that quite honestly, I believe they should be admitted to some sort of a health institution mentally. So you don't need to record me. I can just tell people what I say. But for the rest of y'all that have these conversations, because one of the things that makes me laugh every time someone tells me, this between me and you now, I really just want to hang up the phone on you, because if you think I can record you, you shouldn't talk to me. If you believe that when you talk to me, I'm going to record you, you should just not talk to me. You disagree with that?
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't talk to people that I think will record me. But guess what? I don't care if you record me. Because if you record me, I want you to not let them hear the recording. I want them to call me so I could say it to them. But since they're not leaving and they are who they are, here is the recorded conversation from the Southern Central Eleuthera Candidates Nomination Association people.
Philippa, I hear you and you're not exactly.
I know, Mr. Dean, you always say that, but you really don't. You are very dismissive, but it's okay, I understand. I will support the FNM regardless. But at the end of the day, you cannot be dismissive of the people of Central and South Eleuthera.
Yeah. Okay. I can say this again. At the Grain Castle event, I was instructed by the party, in Grain Castle event role, the chairman of the party, I was instructed not to hold no poll. I don't know.
Well, tell Mr. Dwayne, chance come and vote for him then.
I wanted to have a poll.
Anyway, what I'm saying.
So basically, sorry, Mr. Pinder, one moment, please. So basically, you're saying that you told Mr. Curling just now that the letter was already sent. So why are you entertaining this instead of just coming on and saying, hey, the association already made a decision, the letter was sent in, that Mr. Cassie's store is our pick. So just come out and say that.
That's right, this is useless.
Come on, just come out and say that so we can know what to do moving forward.
That is what has happened. They're going to make a decision tomorrow.
No, it was made already. He just said that the letter was sent in today.
Yeah.
No, that we don't agree. If you have a unanimous decision.
I opened the meeting by saying what the vote was. 11 to 7 to 4 to 0. I said I was advised by the chairman to conduct this poll and have the results in before Friday.
You were advised by the chairman to conduct a poll in a group chat, Mr. Dean, that nobody even knew of or was a part of?
Okay, you say nobody, but I get the point that you want to say more people should have been involved.
No, Mr. Dean, I've been trying to get in the group chat for the last 2 months. Personally, from you were the person who we were reaching out to.
Let me tell you something, Ricardo. The FNM got to understand that people ain't stupid. Even in any organization or board, you have what you call a quorum. You have it in local government. You have it in church thing-ups. That was not a quorum. That was a power move they made. And see, we could sit here tonight and argue all night, but people ain't stupid. We understand what's going on. They give us the deadline to tomorrow. This discussion we have tonight ain't the effect. And it should have been a week ago. To hear our opinion. They done that meeting. Trust me, I don't say nothing much, you know. I've been on the platform very few times in the past, but I ain't no fool. This party has already made the decision what they can do.
Roger, the third Thursday in every month is our monthly meeting. When this meeting was planned, I had no idea I would get that call from Glenn Science on Monday. This meeting was planned. So what I'm saying is, so had I not gotten that call on Monday.
And so all I want to say to you is, as we move through this political period and this political phase, right, I wish to advise you of the sayings of a great orator and friend of mine, Miss Shantika Hanna. Screen record them first and hakiki later, because you will always have time for a hakiki in. But if you get so busy soaking in the gossip, they can delete it. And you can't let them do that to you. So when you see juicy gossip, if you're watching porn on your phone, cancel out the porn and get to the aha kiki in after you then screen record the gossip, because that's the only way for it to be real. Other than that, they're going to deny that it ever happened, and they're going to get their little minions and trolls to come in public and social spaces and say no such thing ever happened. And that's kind of how it works. Virgil Advisor?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so what we hear, or what we believe we heard, because I'm sure they will tell us that this is all a figment of our imagination and this never happened, is that Cassius Stewart is apparently going to get the party's nod in Central and Saudi Luther.
Okay.
And I know that people like Peggy Candice, those have been vehement about the young lady down there, Philippa, who they thought should get the nomination. But it appears as though letters have already been drafted. And I will tell you the one thing that does give me pause for a smile, yeah? Show me the picture of the party. It would just seem to me as though Cassius Stewart has simply outmaneuvered all of his contemporaries, right? Because here it is, a flyer that says that Cassius Stewart is the leader of the United Coalition Movement, and that his deputy leader is one Cheryl Ali McIntosh.
Yeah.
And I've seen that Mr. Francis has said that he's never been elected as the chairman of anything. Funny that that is being said now, because this is 5 years old or there's about. It surfaced sometime in about 2020, 2021. But what it looks to me like is that Cassius Stewart has simply leveraged his party's leadership for a guaranteed nomination in Central and Saudi Luther. And I want to give him a rousing round of applause for that, because he's done something that Orinthia Komalafi has proven not to have the capability to pull off, because there she is somewhere in Carmichael Road, still sweating and walking up and down and tiptoeing all around and juggling balls up and down and doing little circus tricks, trying to still get the F&M's nomination as if she wasn't the leader of a party. And so Cassius Stewart, whatever you think about him, he claims he was bringing sexy back at one point, has leveraged for the second time, as a matter of fact, because this isn't the first time he's done it, you know that, right? You know he's the leader of the BDM.
Yeah.
Right?
The Raymond Democratic Party.
Yeah, and then when Ingram tell him, say, boy, might say you roll up that BDM. Next thing I know, all the Sybil them, you know Sybil them? Sybil Higgs and them. All of them who was marching up and down, and Omar them, who was marching up and down with the flag with the conch shell on it. Not another man of that party got a nomination. You know who got the nomination? Cassius Stewart. Sure. And so he realized that that one-trick pony usually gets a prize at the circus, and he sent his one-trick pony out there to do the one trick. Dun 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 dun. Bam! Give the pony a ribbon. And so it worked for him in Bamboo Town. And now, according to the non-real leaked conversation that we have, it appears as if it's going to work for him in South and Central Luther. I can tell you one thing.
He's not going to win.
He can't even beat Clay growing here. Because the two of them got 10 here, but Clay is outdoing him. You think he could beat Clay down there in Central and Saudi Luther? I doubt that.
Well, he's going to give it his best, eh?
Boy, listen to me. You ain't hear what they say. He can't beat Clay.
Nothing beats failure but trying.
He can't beat Clay.
We'll wait and see.
You know who's beat failure? Clay. He can't beat Clay. Anyway, one more piece of scandalous thing coming out of the political woodwork this weekend. A picture surfaces of the former deputy leader of the Coalition of Independence. I don't know, maybe it's Photoshop, it's politics time. But this picture surfaced over the weekend. It's show the people it. But I recall she must be the doppelganger for the other guy. Because if you would recall...
That's an old photo, man.
Is it?
Yeah, that ain't...
It don't have no timestamp.
That ain't recent.
I don't know. You trying to tell me she always looked like this?
Before. I saw the photo before.
This photo here?
Yeah, I saw it before.
So you're saying she always looked like this?
Just years ago, I think.
She did look like this years ago? Mm-hmm. You sure?
Listen.
This looks like
that's Maria Jackson, right?
Yeah, this hat looks shiny and new.
That's an old photo, man. That ain't recent.
What does the hat say under F&M, producer?
Hold on. Keep it there. Let me look at it.
But I remember that there was a picture of a guy that surfaced quite similar to this, that led the greatest hoodwink of our generation, right? As a matter of fact, he is our modern day Brian Ross and proclaimed nighttime superhero, as a matter of fact, in his spare time when he isn't doing other things, I guess.
See.
But this surfaced over the weekend, and I thought that it was interesting and that people should see it and that I should hear what people had to say once they saw it. And so those are the things that I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about that on this side of the break. How many birthday shout-outs do we have today?
Well, I won't get that until about 5 o'clock.
Okay, and then we're going to do some birthday shout-outs. And then I got something that I want people to seriously consider in the 5 o'clock hour that I want us to talk about for a bit. All right? So, there you have it. The phone lines are open. What time it is? 4:53. You see how gracious I am? Wow. Just open the phone line, producer, 323-7775, 698-0775, or 698-0776. You've seen all the things that got my attention this weekend. Do you think that Adrian White, is a racist? Because I do. And I think that his comments in the parliament have aptly displayed that.
I don't think Adrian White is what people are calling him. He's not.
But what do you think he is?
Let's see.
Because I have another word I'd like to call him, but it's not racist.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, and if the information that I have is correct, Adrian White is married to a black woman. So that doesn't make any sense for him to be racist. That's why I was telling you.
Owners been having babies
you can't do that.
with slaves all of history.
No, you can't do that.
You have not said anything that has added any value to this argument.
You can't do that. You can't go down that road by using that kind of analogy.
Oh, boy.
You know what I mean? So don't, oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Adrian can come after you for that one.
Man, please. Yeah, you want me to...
Yeah, he do that.
Justice League! You think I just play around and come for me?
Yeah, he could definitely come after you for that
You
one.
make me summons the Justice League right now, they'll be here in 6 minutes. And I tell them, send the fast police car to get me and take me to the Grove Station. And by the time, mister, before they stop the tire, come for who?
You shouldn't use
Don't make me blow this pistol.
Yeah, but no. Let's retract
You don't make me blow this pistol.
No, you can't use Adrian,
What did I say?
wife and slave, all in the same
I never.
sentence.
Did you hear me say his wife was a slave? Did you at any point hear me say Adrian's wife was a slave?
But you did talk about white and slave owners.
I just want you to know that white people used to take them in the slave. That's what I said.
Wow.
Just like the Church of God, you take what for you and what ain't for you, you just leave it and say, bless them, Lord. But if you threaten me with Adrian one more time, I will blow my whistle. Because Brave done tell me that's all I have to do. If things get out of hand, blow my whistle and it should all go away. So you don't make me excited in here.
Any callers on the line, producer?
All right, let's take the call. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hey.
Spiritual Riser.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we're trying to find you the other day, but you're good. But guess what? Cassius Stewart is a serial loser. And Levi Miller.
Yep.
Remember a gentleman by the name of Strawn Turman?
No.
A known racist who had black children. Adrian Wright is a total racist. Total racist.
Who's racist?
Adrian Wright, a total racist.
How can you prove that, Dave?
By the committee, I don't say anything, okay? That's right.
So give me one.
Pardon me?
Give me one comment.
Only some people vote. I say only 4 people vote for PSP in Anderson.
Only what?
I said the committee made for people from Anderson. Not Adrian Wright is racist, okay?
What kind of people? What kind of people you say vote for the PLP 9%?
Pardon me, you asked him, but listen, he's right now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dave. Yeah, what you say, Dave? Yeah, Dave.
But guess what? I'm free, okay?
Pardon me?
God is good, okay? I'm free, okay?
Praise the Lord, Dave's free. You can hang up with him.
Hold on, Dave.
Dave say no more chains holding him.
So, Dave.
He gone.
You won your case? So, Dave, you won your case? You won your case? You won your case?
No, she lost her case.
No. I'm asking if you won yours.
Dave say his soul is resting. All right, Dave, rest your pressure down now. It's just a blessing.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Dave.
Last thing.
You're like a Baptist preacher now. That's your second last thing, huh? Cassius Stewart?
A serial loser. People go around. Cassius Stewart wouldn't get 500 votes or 1,000 votes in the
Boy, I know if he could be. He can't even beat Clay Grow in here. I doubt he could be able to beat him now. I doubt that.
So-
I doubt that. I got you. I got you, Dave. Let's take one more before the break. 323-7775. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hey, let me go quick as I know the break coming up. Spiritual advisor, Liban,
Hey.
listen to me. I want to invite you down to Seabreeze later on tonight. We're having a nice
They
motorcade.
can call me a PLP if I come out there.
No, come out there, come out, but listen
No,
to me.
I can't let you do that to me. I'm an FNA, and now
No,
listen.
but
The only way I can come out there is if I.
Don't be blocking with just the FNA. Hear what everybody has to offer.
No, I'm
Let me say
leader,
this
but I am
quickly.
leader.
Let me say this quickly. St. Anne's is the only seat that the PLP has never won. Right? Anderson is the only seat the FNM has never won. Let's move Adrian White out of St. Anne's, and let's move Glennis out of Anderson, and put them in any constituency, and Glennis will beat them. Any other constituency you want to pick.
All right, I completely
You pick
share
this.
it. I
You pick any
1,000%.
seat you want to put them to
You
it.
gotta go, caller.
I absolutely endorse that. Anyway, don't move. The break is here. We'll be back. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Levan Miller. You're listening to us on 103.5 FM, The Beat on 224-112. That's cable or flow. Or on ILTV Studios. That's over there on Facebook. The phone lines are still open. Let's do 5 more minutes of that and then we'll get to these birthdays, eh? Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. Caller, you there?
Hello.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Mr. Miller, Mr. Roll. How are you all doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Miller and Mr. Roll, this question goes to you all.
Who you want to answer?
April, May, this is now June. I was trying to call to I Clinic Soldier Road at least 4 to 5 times a day. No avail. I caught the bus over there in May, the last week in May, to find out what the problem was. When I got there, lady tell me, see, we don't have nobody working. Everybody calling in, and it's nobody to answer the phone. Up to this morning 3 times for the day, and still no avail to nobody answering the phone. What is going on in the government places?
Wow, that's unfortunate.
I can answer, yeah.
That is very unfortunate. I don't know. I can commit to probing into it and finding out what's happening and get you an answer tomorrow. Would you like me to do that?
I listen to the show every God day.
All right. Well, definitely I'll make some phone calls and see what it is I can find out, and then see what it is that we can get done. How does that sound?
I'll appreciate it very much.
No problem.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you, caller.
Let's take one more. 323-7775. No more? Good. Perfect. Let's go to the birthdays.
All right. Let's see. What do we have? Today's the 23rd. Jahade Dean. Happy birthday to Jahade Henfield Dean. It's coming from your parents, Mario and Meredith Henfield. Your daughter, Kiana Henfield. Your brother, Jaden. Your grandmother, Ina Roll. Your uncle, Omar. And Ken Stubbs. Family members in Freeport, Bimini, Nassau as well. They love you, Jade. Happy birthday to you. Nikita. Happy birthday, Nikita, from your husband, Uriah, your daughter, Naya, your sisters, brothers, mom, and dad, and the rest of the family. Happy birthday, Nikita. Deacon Daniel. Happy 47th birthday, Deacon Daniel. May your cup never run dry, and may you overflow with God's blessings as you continue to have complete trust and faith in Him. My heart is filled with love and gratitude for you. So, I pray that you have a great day with lots of love and happiness from your wife and kids. Happy birthday, Deacon Daniel. Shavante Bastian. Happy birthday to the gorgeous Shavante Bastian, who turns 23 years old today. Love and celebrations extend from your mother, your brother, your aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, especially your aunts, Deli and Shauna. They love you. They celebrate with you. Love you. Enjoy your birthday. We got a special shout out to Brian Higgs. Congratulations to Brian Higgs.
The Higgs.
The second. Passing his MBBS exams with honors. Brian will be jacketed this evening. So congratulations, Brian Higgs II, coming from your father, Brian Higgs Sr., your mom, Paulette Higgs, your brother, your Grammy, your family, and your friends, all those who love you, Daddy. So congratulations to Brian Higgs II. So we invited, actually, to Brian's graduation. Oh, sorry. Yes, this afternoon at I think it's a ballroom at Bahama.
Wow.
I think we have,
I have to put on my go-to-meeting note first.
I think we're invited to go there. Welcome to Freedom March, caller.
Hey, Randy.
Yes.
I need you to call the landlord. Tell him I need the key so I can get care of these clothes what you need. I just come.
Oh. Okay, sorry about that. I'll call you back.
What?
Yeah, that was sorry about that. All right, so we've been done congratulating Project.
You sure?
Brian, he's the second. I thought that was a call coming through for the studio. Forgive me.
Oh, boy.
All right, now, who's this now? What else we have? That's it?
I don't know. I think today is my auntie's birthday. So listen, my mommy has all kind of sisters. My granddaddy have, I think, 14 daughters or something like that, right? I just lose count. But if I'm not mistaken, today is the 23rd of June. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
That would mean that it is my auntie Yvonne McPhee's birthday. Yeah? And if it is so, then I want to say to her, she's my favorite auntie on my mommy's side. And so to my favorite auntie, my auntie Yvonne, we used to go by her when I was a child, and we used to drink water from the hose. It was the best water I ever had. And she always kept us safe, and she would let us play. And you know, my mommy never really used to let us outside a lot. But once we go by Annie Vaughan, we could go outside because she had like a scarlet plum tree and dogs and all sorts of other things. And like we used to play flipping off the roof. And she was always such a wonderful auntie to me. And so today I think is her birthday. And if I'm not mistaken, then I want to say happy birthday to my auntie, Yvonne McPhee.
Good.
Yeah?
Indeed.
Good stuff. All right, let me tell you what else I want to talk about. The phone lines are still open, 323-7775, right?
Do you have a call?
What they want to talk to me about? Hello, caller.
You said
Welcome
the
to
phone
Freedom
lines
March.
still open.
Yeah, but
Good afternoon.
Hey.
I'm calling in reference to the lady who called concerning the eye clinic on Soldier Road.
Mm-hmm.
I encountered that same
You encountered that same problem?
turned down very low, and they're not answering the phone.
When you go on there, someone was there?
Yes, somebody was there.
Okay. What time?
This was like after 1.
After 1 on a which day?
This was on a Wednesday.
Okay, so you recommend she go 1 o'clock on a Wednesday?
No. The phones are ringing, but they're just not answering the phones. They have the phones turned down very low.
Yeah, but she also said that when she was there, no one was there.
That apparently who came, the person just had walked to the front of the desk when I were there.
Wow.
But they have the phone, and I watched that phone blinking, and
So it looks like we got to speak to Dr. Dowell about this then.
Wow. Okay, or we could talk to Dr. Dwayne Sands so he could case with Dr. Dowell, and when he cases with Dr. Dowell, that may engage Dr. Dowell and make him fix it, you see?
Well, okay.
That might work that way. We'll see. Okay. We'll discuss how is the best way to get it. Because the only thing we care about is the end result. But Dr. Dowell is busy. You know, he's trying to get ambulance and trying to get ambulance into Family Island and trying to get NHI up and running and one bunch of stuff. He may just be a little too busy.
Okay.
So what to do? You get opposition forces to case him out. That may activate him. And when he's activated, he might speedily head towards it and get it sorted out. Yeah?
Okay.
That may work. All right. Let's take another phone call. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hey, Mr. Roland Miller, what's going on?
Yes.
Buddy, I called and I got a complaint. I got a lodge about either Cable Bahamas or Rev TV, one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I talked with you about that last one. On the 15th of last month, which was me, I deposited $150 to turn my cable on. Right? On the 21st, I gave one of my co-workers $100 to go on and pay the bill, and she said the bill was, she paid the bill, had a $36 balance left on the bill. So I told her, just leave the difference and I'll go in there this month and put that on for this month's bill. I was in there on Friday. Then I get there after what my bill is. To receive my bill is $89. I say, how come $89? I say, the TV ain't been on 2 weeks. It's just, 2 months. It's just the second time I paying for the bill. I say, so that means, and the 15th I deposited, and on the 15th, the cable, when they were talking about the fiber internet, it didn't wait for 6 days. So now you're charging me $189 in 2 months. They ain't completed yet.
So what was your...
So I asked him, I said, the technician said it was a fault with TV. I tell him I don't think it was a fault with the TV, just that he was hooking up the fiber internet, just going out. I think they might have a little problem hooking that up. So I asked them if they have TV for sale. They say, yeah. So the lady said, well, I got $1,000 plus in credit. I said, well, why don't you all let me come in and we make an arrangement so I could get one of the TVs and use my credit on the TV sales, because they say I can't get the credit in cash. So they say I need to go to the bank and get a bank statement with 2 government ID pictures and bring it to them. It'll be with 5 to 7 working days before anything could be approved. I say, I don't think that's going to happen. I ain't going to give you all my bank book statement like that. I see, if you all talk, I had $1,000+ credit. I don't know anything about it. I say, if I had to die, you know about it. Only me and you all. So you all would have been in $1,000+ plus of me. Ain't nobody else in my family know that.
Well, you got to tell your family these kind of things.
Every time I come to you all got me you'll give me a different bill. I say right now, the TV was on from the 15th of May, and Friday was the 21st of June, and I paid $189 for 2 months. Wasn't any completed yet.
So
what's the cost of your package?
So what I think happens is I think Cable Bahamas prorates the bill. I think I had the same challenge with the lady that called in when she investigated. What she found was that the bill appears, but it's not showing as owing. You follow me?
Yeah.
So the bill might be there. If you go and you ask what my bill is, they tell you $200. You say, well, Jesus Christ, how the bill could be $200 and it's $100 a month? It's because even if you paid $100 in May, or let's just say May 28th, your new bill comes out May 29th. So if you call June 20th, they will tell you that the bill is $100. You say, well, it can't be $100 because June 29 ain't reached yet. It's because the bill is somehow prorated. It's corporation mathematics that I haven't figured out yet, but that might be a challenge.
Yeah, but she's saying it's $66 a month plus VAT. I don't only thing I know what VAT is. What 19 rum? I don't drink rum.
Hold the phone line. Give me a name and a number. I'll check my contact and see if we can get to the bottom of your matter. All right?
Yeah, and when you go, they tell them cashiers they can't be talking on the phone and serving the customer. They laughing and carrying. I said, no, put that phone on hold till you get through with me.
I agree.
Don't have no.
And the next time they do it, you should stand up on top of the counter. That's what I would do. Yeah, no, I agree. But give the producer your name and number, and let me see if I can pass your number on to a contact. And tell her, but Thursday someone should get it to you, eh?
Okay, buddy.
All right, good. So here's the thing I want to talk about now, right? I got more calls on the phone line. You think I can get to talk about the things I want to talk about? Let's go, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Yes, Mr. Miller and Mr. Roll. I am calling regarding to the ladies who called to say that they were not able to get through to the government eye clinic on Soldier Road.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I had a similar problem for days and days. I was calling, and I had someone else to call for me, but I went there this afternoon between 12 and 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
The place is buzzing with activity.
Wow.
People are getting served.
Wow.
I told one of the ladies, that I had been calling, and I was told that the systems were down. Even though the phones might be ringing, the systems were down.
Okay. Wow.
So I just waited a few minutes because there are a lot of persons to be served. I had to wait on a
That's
line.
good news to hear. And you say between 12 and 1.
Behind me and they were served as well. So
you say between 12 and 1.
I don't know, but it's up and running.
All right.
I was there.
That's good information now. Thank you. So, first caller, go tomorrow around 12. Okay. Get yourself a nice little lunch when you go in case you have to wait an hour. Let's see if we can get you some service, all right? Let's take the last phone call. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. Not there? Hey, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. Going once, going twice. Gone. Okay, so.
Yeah, that's
put them on hold, man. You don't put them on hold? Let's go. Let's go, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. How do you know what I'm going to talk about?
Caller. Well, what you have to do, you open the phone lines.
Yeah, to talk about that segment, and now we're trying to talk about
so now you can explain that to the callers so they don't call. All right, so callers don't call. He wants to address something else.
Just put them on hold.
No, that wouldn't be nice. Because some of these people be calling using cell phones.
Okay.
So we're going to pause.
Yeah,
we're going to pause for a second, yeah. So just go ahead.
Okay, so the thing I want to talk about is we are almost at the 5-year mark, right? It has come to my attention that somehow the government of the Bahamas still has this position of parliamentary secretary. And yes, I get it. I've Googled it, ChatGPT'd it. There is no timeline for when someone should be promoted from parliamentary secretary, right?
So who should be promoted?
No. I'm saying to you that in the Westminster system, parliamentary secretary is like a minister in training. So it gives him an opportunity to go around the ministry, kind of find his way, help with the day-to-day running of the ministry, etc., right? Mm-hmm. But presently in the Bahamas, since the last general election, when this prime minister picked his cabinet, he, in his wisdom, selected 6 parliamentary secretaries. Right?
Mm-hmm. Paul Sachs.
Right. One of who was eventually promoted to Minister of State, and then promoted to minister, right?
Okay.
In the office of the Prime Minister.
Okay.
That's Leon Lundy.
Okay, good.
However, as a government that claims to, at some point, have been the bridge to the future, there are still 5 parliamentary secretaries that I don't know if it is justifiable to say that they are still getting government training. Does that make sense? Among them are Wade Alexander Watson, who, because he got a degree in 1992, suggests to me that he has to be a man that's almost 60. Among them is a man by the name of Barkus Roll, who, although ChatGPT can't tell me how old he is, says that based on his having played basketball in America for a certain amount of time and having done the things that he's done in his profession in the electrical corporation, just based on the things that ChatGPT can find about him in that realm, they also suggest that he's about mid-50. Then there is a man by the name of Leonardo Lightburn. We have pictures for these people. He's 42, he's lived in Turkey, he's had a decorated basketball career. ChatGPT says that the pivot of his career from being a dynamic athlete to politics and frontline policy making is, let me make sure I quote ChatGPT now, because I don't want to lie. I will make sure I say exactly what ChatGPT say, right? Leonardo Lightburn, born July 31st, 1982, which makes him 42 years old as of this July, before entering politics, had a notable career as a basketball player, even earning a full scholarship to Liberty University in the United States. His journey from athletics to public service is quite the pivot. As per ChatGPT's description, if you're exploring leadership trajectories in the Bahamas and Bahamian politics, his path is a compelling case. Leonardo Lightburn had a noteworthy basketball career before entering Bahamian politics. He played at the collegiate level in the United States, first attending Marshalltown Community College in Iowa, and then earning a full athletic scholarship to Liberty University in Virginia, where he competed in the NCAA Division I basketball. After college, he went on to play professionally overseas. Notably, he suited up for, Celisim Koleji Izmir in Turkey during 2006-2007. Standing at 6'8", he played the forward position and was known for his athleticism and presence on the court. His transition from sports to public service reflects a broader theme of leadership and discipline, qualities often honed on the court and later applied in governance. If you are exploring how athletic backgrounds can shape political careers, Lightburn's journey is a compelling example. Right? Tiny, that's ChatGPT.
Okay.
And so all I'm saying is, here we have a bunch of middle-aged men, right, who are the tomorrow of the Bahamas. We have a prime minister that's 74. We have a deputy prime minister that's hovering somewhere around, I think, 62 now, or 61. How old Chest is? I can ask ChatGPT that in a minute. And my question is, how much longer are these middle-aged men going to continue auditioning for a job? And have there not been enough trip downs in the cabinet to consider cabinet shuffles? Because according to ChatGPT, the only way parliamentary secretaries can be promoted is, let's check this out. Under the Westminster system, there's no fixed term for parliamentary secretary. Their tenure is typically at the discretion of the prime minister. That means they usually serve as long as they retain the confidence of the head of the government and continue to be politically useful. In practice, parliamentary secretaries often serve for a few years, sometimes aligned with an electoral cycle or cabinet reshuffles. The role is frequently seen as a stepping stone to higher office. So some may be promoted to full ministerial positions while others might be rotated out to make room for new talent or reflect the shifting political priorities. And that's my question. Leo Lightburn has been parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Fisheries. Right? That was when they also had Family Island Affairs.
Right.
Then they switched the cabinet. They switched the cabinet minister. Well, they switched the minister and the ministry. Then him and Clay gone over by Ministry of Works and Family Island Affairs. Right? Barker's role was the parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Works. So now we have a minister of Works with two parliamentary secretaries, one 42 and the next one I think 54 or 53. And my question is, I mean, is the Prime Minister using his full wisdom in the consideration of how he employs the skills and the minds of the men that will possibly lead the Progressive Liberal Party into tomorrow? Or does the Prime Minister believe that because he got a shake at it late, that it is okay for big grown man to be getting a shake at it late?
It isn't that. The Progressive Liberal Party is almost like a cult.
What?
All right? And so you have to be in a particular clique for things to happen for you.
Boy.
I mean, you know, there are some people.
But
there are some people.
ChatGPT say. ChatGPT
Yeah,
say.
but there's some people who jumped the line and were lucky, like Chester Cooper. He was lucky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was able to jump the line. Normally, in the politics of the party.
But if parliamentary secretary is a
you know?
stepping stone for government procedures and protocol and how government is to be run, it's been 4 years. What value will any of these men be able to bring to a cabinet?
It doesn't
what
work that
mean?
way. That's the politics of the party. It doesn't work that way. You have to toe the line.
What
Whether
value?
you think these men are qualified and they're wasting most of their prime time at this stage of the game, and it isn't prime.
Are they wasting it? No, they're actively in public life,
Right.
so they can't be wasting
But they're young.
this time.
They're young.
They're not young men, and that's the point I'm
they
making.
got to wait till they get around 70.
They're not
and
young
then,
men.
And then things will happen for them.
Marcus Roll, a man over 50. Wade Watson get he degree the same year we print the quincentennial dollar, beloved. Consider
Another
that.
10 years and they'll probably get there.
Well, what would they be waiting for?
You got to toe the line.
What line?
It don't work that way.
But cabinets get shuffled all the time.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that there is no reason to shuffle none of these men, with the exclusion of Leon Lundy?
It's the politics of the party.
So then what did Lundy do?
He just know how to play his game.
Oh, fine. Then can he teach it to Barkas? I mean, come on. Because this is I don't know Leonardo Lightburn well enough to give a flying frisbee about him. I tell you what ChatGPT say about the guy. You ever tried ChatGPT?
So you got to convince the party now. You got to convince the party.
I say FNA. What you talking about? Have you ever ChatGPT, Jenny?
It is ChatGPT or ChatGBT. Which is one? Which one is it? Is it ChatGPT?
Where do you live, Bradley Roll?
What is it?
It's ChatGPT.
Right. It's all he's saying ChatGBT.
Oh boy.
That's what it sounds like to me. So it's ChatGPT.
Yes.
P as in party.
P as in Papa.
Okay. It doesn't matter what ChatGPT
But it
stuff
does
is
matter.
It's not based on politics in the party.
What are you talking about?
It's just based on straight up information. So
No, ChatGPT finds your thumbprint in social spaces and creates a catalog of what it is that you've done and provides a small matter of fact, some people who think they're important should actually go ChatGPT their name. Because I bet you if you ChatGPT that list of people I see getting the awards, you probably can't find some of them. And if ChatGPT don't know you, I don't know how I'm supposed to know you. And all I'm saying is, right, when you hear ChatGPT talk about a young man as impressive as this, that has had a life that has taken him all the way to Turkey. So he's lived first world. He's seen modern development. He understands modern public transportation. He understands what it takes to create a sports brand that's international. Right? Same could be said for Barkas Roll. Lived abroad, did schooling abroad, etc., etc. Only me one ain't never leave Nassau. I've been Nassau my whole life.
Chester Cooper is 54. Wow, I got him by 5 years.
I think Chester that young. Check that again.
Is he that
All
young?
I'm saying is, I want to know what it's going to take. And what do the Bahamian people anticipate it's going to take? And that's why I want to open the line, because I don't feel like I out on the limb alone with this. These grown man got to get promoted. This is Freedom March. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Leland Miller. You're listening to us on 103.5 FM, The Beat, or on 224, or on 112, or on ILTV Studios. Wherever you're listening to us, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, that's on cable and on Flow. But I don't say it for you that are already listening to me. Please go call your friends. Tell your friends to cut that other nonsense off and don't listen to it anymore and come over here and listen to us. Where the goal ultimately is to inform, to educate, and sometimes to entertain. And so I go back to my rant about parliamentary secretaries because I think the Progressive Liberal Party, except they are intercepted by the FNA, has a wonderful opportunity to retain government as a two-term government for the first time in 30 years. I think that if they hitch the cart a bit tighter though, they might even three-peat. They might even three-peat. And you know and I know that the only two people that ever three-peat is the LA Lakers and the Chicago Bulls. But if the PLP keep this up, and if they're able to close these small gaps, right? Because according to ChatGPT, Chester Cooper is a shim older than Barker's role. So Chester's 454, according to ChatGPT, which would put Barker somewhere around 52 and a half, 53. But if you consider the fact that, again, what's the fellow's name? Wade Watson get his degree the same year we print the quincentennial dollar, he more than likely is older than Chester Cooper. ChatGPT hasn't given me his exact age. And then, of course, among them, Jamal Strawn is 37. He was born in 1988. Mm-hmm. The only one that I can say would justifiably still reasonably be okay at parliamentary secretary level. Simply because the only thing ChatGPT could tell me about him is that he had some experience in foreign affairs and then was elected to public office. I don't know what that means. Don't ask me, that's what ChatGPT said. But I think about people like John H.W. Pinder, who, according to ChatGPT, has had extensive training and education in international business and finance, and has been known about the Abaco community for many years, according to them. Early to mid-40s, ChatGPT says. And if we still have our 40-year-olds posturing and jockeying, and leadership ambition just nowhere in the fore of their mind, if we still have 50-year-olds tap dancing and doing the Little River dance, pick me, please, 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 Prime Minister. Pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, please, 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 Prime Minister. I don't like the way it tastes on my tongue when I think about it. And so I want the Prime Minister to review this. And the Prime Minister cannot convince me.
Who's your horse in this race or these
I have no horses in this race.
You gotta have one.
No, let me tell you why. Because, could you imagine, I had actually somehow found myself in the Progressive Liberal Party with all of the thoughts in my mind, with all the things I think in my mind, and for the Prime Minister to put me in a straitjacket, because that's what parliamentary secretary is. Because it is executive responsibility without executive power or control, right? And for the Prime Minister to put me in that straitjacket, because, parliamentary secretaries cannot vote against the cabinet. You know that, right? Okay. So if the cabinet takes a position,
they have to take the same
a parliamentary secretary adopts that position.
Right. So obviously there's some...
So it is a political straitjacket.
Right. So you're saying that this is a waste of talent? But
no, I'm saying that you don't get to do that to big grown man.
So this... Okay.
What I'm saying is, move them into executive chairman roles by now. Who cares? Didn't we fire one executive chairman? None of these fellas could go be an executive chairman?
So obviously you believe that these men now who are parliamentary secretaries are being overlooked for their talent.
I think they're being underutilized, but similarly I also believe that you really aren't giving them chance to put polish on, and that they will make massive blunders if made cabinet ministers in the next administration, because parliamentary secretary is like being in the kitchen but not on the stove, and that's not how you cook the meat. The turkey can't bake unless you put it in the oven. And I don't care how much basting and priming you do to the turkey. If you want the turkey to bake...
Well, it's a party system.
And I get it, but we have,
you feel that
we
way,
have ministers of the government that are under 40.
It's the way it is.
Isn't Clay Speeding under 40?
I think he is.
Isn't JoBeth Colby under 40?
I think she is.
And so my question is, I'm not saying that age is the overarching requirement.
How do they get where they are?
I'm saying, how do we shuffle the talent so that we do not create talent gaps?
Mr. Prime Minister, this message,
like, why can't Bacchus go and be the Minister of State for JoBeth?
This message is for you.
It is. It is. Bacchus Roll has spent 1 million years inside BEC. I hear nobody ever rack up more money for BEC than Bacchus in all of my life. Wouldn't he, in this time, when BEC could use extra money and is doing all of this transition from solar to, from fossil fuel to solar and all of this change and transition and transmission, you don't think he know one thing that could help?
You don't think they know that?
When I asked ChatGPT about Leonardo Lightburn, they tell me if I want to know more about him, I must go check FIBA. Boy, the only time I ever hear about FIBA is when I listen to ESPN. And so if you saying to me that that FIBA know the man.
That's the World Cup?
No. That's basketball.
Okay.
But if you're trying to tell me that guy cannot partner in the Ministry of Youth with Mario Boleg and somehow create some sort of a national something or a regional something that gets us the kind of notoriety that we deserve, particularly from a small country that turning out one basketball player every 3 years, I'm hopeful that we're not creating talent gaps. And so
these men are being overlooked, Prime Minister.
I say they overlook. I say what I say. And so you put JoBeth, right? Because everybody needs a token Negro girl. So she's young, she's smart, you put her at the glass ceiling, and then you say, look at my glass ceiling girl. And everybody says, hey, right?
Are they wrong for that?
You're not. It's perfect in psychology, actually. But I believe that that's why she's such a target for controversy. because people associate her. No, people associate her as being...
She's not polished then?
No. People... Go,
so why has she become a target?
You go in psychology, use your phone for something other than Tingham.
So basically because she's been
because she's the
so
token
high,
girl.
She can't handle it mentally.
No, because she's the token girl, people feel the need to sling rocks at her.
No,
everybody
what makes you think she's a token girl?
I'm telling you that go in your phone, look in psychology and look up tokenism.
So the PLP, based on all that she has and her qualifications,
I'm not saying that she isn't
decided
qualified.
to make her their
Yes, I think she's eminently qualified.
So it's the politics, like I tell you.
Yes, whether she's qualified isn't what's on the debate here. What is on debate here is whether or not she is perceived that way. And because people perceive her as a token, I think that's why she's such a lightning rod for controversy, because people feel the need to sling rocks at it. It's like a glass house. You just want to throw stones at it. Right? But here you have a Watson that has been a policeman and worked for NHI in their IT department and, according to the Prime Minister, revamped the whole digital footprint in the OPM. How long we playing these parliamentary secretary games? How long should this big grown man come into Parliament and can't tell you all when he disagree with you all because you all have the political straitjacket of parliamentary secretary on it?
Does this hurt the party?
I think in the long run, yes. I think 10 years from now, they will regret this. I think it also makes these men easy to bait. But that's only because...
By other parties?
Yeah, but that's only... But I mean, you could afford to... Because think of them ain't got no bait. But if they had bait, like if these were closely contested elections, like the election of, 2002? Or like the election of 1992? Very hotly contested elections, where there weren't blowout landslides, leaving fellas as parliamentary secretary for this long, you'd lose them.
So are they going to lose them?
I don't... Lose, can I use lose widely? Because they may still be very much allegiance.
Are they going to become discouraged?
They may still be very much allegianced. They may just not be battling for the party anymore because there's no incentive.
So eventually they'll become discouraged. So
or disenchantment.
Because guess what?
Disenchantment.
Yeah,
disenchantment.
They may not, so the reality is these men may not say what you're saying now, because honestly, I do believe deep down within that one or two of them that I know.
Well, it's only 5. Which two? So which 2? You could just call it 2
I'm
because
not
it's
going
only
to do
5.
that. I'm not going to do that. I do believe that 1 or 2 of them do believe that they're being overlooked.
But the question then becomes, what did Lundy do? What did Lundy do? But Lundy isn't alone. I mean, Pia Glover-Roll was promoted from Minister of State to Substantive Minister, and by my estimation, she has been a political rock star, albeit a newcomer. Jomo Campbell. Well, Jomo is like Omo. He's been elevated from Minister of State to Minister. I think Jomo is about 45 years old. We could also ask ChatGPT that. How old is Jomo Campbell? You could ask ChatGPT anything, you know.
Okay.
Jomo Campbell is 46 years old, born the 15th of March, 1979. His background includes a legal career spanning 15 years before transitioning into politics, and he currently serves as the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources. So if Jomo is 46 now, that means from 42 years old, Jomo was sitting in the cabinet of the Bahamas as a Minister of State. At around 43 or 44, he became a substantive minister. But how? I get it. It's up to the Prime Minister's discretion. But what are some of the things that activates the Prime Minister's discretionary range? You don't know. Let's ask the callers. 323-777-569-8077. Are you waiting on the whisperer?
No.
Oh, okay.
I want to ask ChatGPT how to become an FNA. Let's see. ChatGPT, how do you become an FNA?
Boy. Let's take phone calls.
Sorry, we don't know ourselves.
Oh, wow. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Yes, spiritual advisor, please.
How are you, ma'am? Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, spiritual advisor. How are you?
I'm fine. How do I become an FNA?
Your co-worker need to find a job in McDonald's. You don't have a...
Get off this phone! Over the line, Marco. She's still there? Ha. See that? Magic. Graham say when I see foolishness,
Oh,
my
Jesus,
whistle.
Lord. I wanted to hear what was the reason for the McDonald's, though.
That's what. And I hope they cut off your current tonight. That's what. Yeah. And make dogs bark through your corner all night. And may your neighbor wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and bang on things like my neighbor. And may, what else? And may mangoes drop in your yard so plentifully that flies and little fruit flies be everywhere. That's what I want for you. Let's take another phone call. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. And may you bite your tongue.
Are you there, caller?
Yeah, at the back.
Go ahead, caller. You're live.
Hello?
Hey.
You're live.
Hey, good afternoon, Special Advisor. Good afternoon, Mr. Miller.
Hey, buddy.
Mr. Miller, you know what we got to do?
Mm-hmm.
You got to let them shine in their position. You can't put people to do things. You know what they do last time to get young person? They had all kind of little jokey people calling on the phone. They was playing all kind of game. I was so embarrassed, man.
How do you shine as a Paulsec, though?
Huh?
How you shine as a Paulsec?
Well, it's easy. Just do your job and make it look easy. The people watching you.
You know it ain't really nothing for a Paulsec to do.
I know.
Right?
You will find something to do.
Yeah,
Find
it
some
ain't really
ideas,
nothing for a Paulsec to do.
You gotta find something to do. You gotta be sharp. Last time they had one, that's what they're doing. I watching the young people. They talking about marital rape. They talk all kind of craziness. The last one we had, he take off the plastic and be walking out with nothing. And I say, what these young people is be doing, man.
Boy. Yeah.
Listen, tell them shine. Find something to do. Find some
50.
ideas.
They 50. You want 50-year-old man shine?
You better shine because listen, I watch when Chester Cool come in there. You know, I try to use the name, but I watch when he come in there. He was a bright young man.
Yeah, but
they always bring them up to the front.
In all fairness,
you can't bring crazy people up to the front.
In all fairness, now when Chester come in the PLP, the whole PLP could go to Parliament in a Suzuki Swift.
Listen, I ain't gonna lie, all fun and shit, I watch it, he was
No, but I'm
sharp.
saying, it's
And
easy to,
guess what?
but it's easy to shine when it's for you all.
I know they can't have no chance to speak, but listen, Mr.
Excuse
Miller.
me.
Tell them shine.
Shine.
Find something to do.
All
Find
right.
some ideas.
This
I'm
man-
going to go more end on this.
Uh-huh.
I listened to the woman from South Beach or whatever that was she speak, but the light. Man, that was a Berlin. If all was like that, I started to out. I was getting on the beach.
Wow.
No better. Y'all have a blessed day.
All right.
All right, take
I
care.
wish tea burn your throat, you woman. The next time you drink hot tea, I want you to miss and swallow too much.
Welcome
what
to
I
Freedom March, Carly Alive. She's just getting off on you.
And I-
Spiritual advisor
Yes, ma'am.
and Mr. Levan.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Spiritual advisor and Mr. Levan San.
Miller, but keep
I
going.
need to talk with that, Mr. Miller.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Miller. Listen to me, Mr. Miller. I am from South Beach. Okay? I'm a Starboard counselor in South Beach.
Okay.
Whenever you run an election in South Beach, they normally tell us, if you win South Beach, you win the election. Okay? Mr. Roll is a...
Oh Lord, look at her
Wake
for them
up.
cut the line.
The homes that we went to, the people said what Mr. Roll has done in South Beach, they have never seen from no other member of Parliament. And I think this time around, next election 2026, I think Mr. Roll deserves a chance of being a cabinet minister.
Man, I think they gotta could do
Roll
something
is
for him
a worker.
before that. I think they gotta could do something for Bacchus before that.
Mr. Roll is a worker.
Yeah.
I is a Starboard councillor of South Beach. My name, I don't care. I give you my name. It doesn't make a difference to me. Okay? Every house we went to, the people said they've never seen nothing like this.
Yeah.
Mr. Roll do things for the fellas. He teach people how to do. He has seminars. He how to do nails.
Yeah.
Here. Mr. Roll is a good.
Yeah, and that's what I feel. And even when the fellas was pouring the
He
cement.
tells them how to cut here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you went so big, you went the election, so listen to me. It could be a big fight, you know.
So
if you see us win so big fight. The PIP win, big fight.
Okay, so
because it would not be fair to Mr. Rowe.
So-
That man is
so
a good
caller.
boycott.
So caller.
And he's humble.
So caller.
Marcus is humble.
Listen now, caller. Are you there?
Yes.
Now, who you need to convince of this now?
Who I need to convince the party?
All right, so go ahead and do
First,
your
he has
job.
to win and speak first. First, the PIP have to win.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Roll is a good man. He's a good boycott.
Yeah.
You hear me? I put my head on the chopping block for Mr. Roll. Every house we went to, the people said they've never seen nothing like this in South Beach.
Yeah.
Mr. Roll is a dedicated man to his work.
Wow.
All right, so you wanna make sure the Prime Minister gets this message, eh?
I want Mr.
Hello? You're gonna make sure?
And Mr. Roll is a good boycott.
Right, so
That's right.
you're gonna make sure that the Prime Minister gets that message.
Yeah.
Every house we went to. And they always tell us, you know what they always tell us? Oh, who went South Beach win the election? You have
Hands
to win
down.
the election. If you
Hands
win
down.
South Beach, you win the election.
Hands down,
Right,
brother.
right.
Hands
Why
down.
he can't get a cabinet spot?
Or
Why
make him an
Bacchus can't get a
executive
cabinet
chairman or
spot?
something. Jesus wept. You could give him BAIC. You could give him bombs.
Mr.
Give him
Goodman,
something.
Mama,
My
Mr. Good
God.
boycott.
Right, so
He-
caller.
He ain't every listen here. He ain't nobody perfect, you know.
No, we
No
understand
man
that.
is perfect. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yes, we understand
Okay?
that.
Nobody is perfect. But at this time, when you see 2026 come and we win, Mr. Wall have to be there to the cabinet.
So,
and he got to be to that table, man. He's a good man.
Caller, who's responsible for appointing the cabinet?
The Prime Minister, only one person.
Mr. the Prime Minister.
Right, so you have to get your message to him.
Well, he listening. Thank you, caller. You know my spiritual advisor. He's unsafe. Let's
Get
take
your
another phone.
message
Let's
to
take
the
another
PM.
phone
I agree
call.
with everything she's saying, especially for Bacchus. I would like for Bacchus to be a cabinet minister.
Yeah, but I got a couple other fellas on this list too. I think Leonardo Lightburn should go. Why what is that about? I even think Jamal, we can't make Jamal like
Listen.
chairman of the urban renewal or something.
For the sake of this argument, I'm not a PLP, but I think Bacchus' role should be considered for a cabinet post. So,
Or executive chairman.
So, Mr. Prime Minister,
Oh, boy.
whatever you do in this upcoming general election, the people are now saying, don't you overlook Bacchus' role.
Wow.
Because if you do, Prime Minister, then South Beach will become
FNA. FNA.
Now, that's what he said. I didn't say that.
You know I'm the mayor of South Beach. You know that?
That's what he said. So, Mr. Prime Minister, obviously something's going on, and there's some people are being overlooked, and Barker's Road seemed to be one of those men.
Yeah, but there are other people on this list.
So, Mr. Prime Minister, if you're thinking about making sure that the younger folks play a
we gotta
vital
close the
part
gap.
in forging the party ahead in the future, stop overlooking the young talent.
Yeah, and secure our 3 people.
Some of those old boys, they got to go home. It's time to go home. If you win the next general election, Mr. Prime Minister, you'll be almost 80. That's something to think about. We don't need a Joe Biden situation in Bahamas, Mr. Prime Minister.
Wow.
Welcome to Freedom March, caller. You're live.
Hello.
This spiritual advisor is
I
not
had to
fair.
get that little laughter there.
Hello, caller.
Now see, don't throw me off. Listen, in reference to Mr. Roll, yes, he's doing an excellent job. But, Mr. Bennett, who would you, if, just say, next 2 weeks, the Prime Minister wakes up and decides to reshuffle the cabinet, who would you like to see out of there? And who would you like to see put in there?
So, can I offer you some maths? Can I offer you my mathematics?
Okay.
The Prime Minister is 74. He just turned 74 on June the 6th, yes?
Mm-hmm.
By my calculation, after the next budget period next year, which is May, which is the start of the close of the budget, the Prime Minister will turn 75. I am of the view that the Prime Minister doesn't want to go to an election with people calling him 75. You following what I'm saying to you? So if he's gonna go before his 75th birthday. You following me?
Mm-hmm.
That would mean that election will be May of next year. If that is the case, then that means we've got 10 months to an election. All right? We've already had 2 members of the cabinet that have suggested that they have no intention on returning. Alfred says, and Basil Rungs. What Basil name? Basil McIntosh.
Yeah.
All right? We don't need to keep wasting those 2 cabinet seats. We could shuffle the cabinet, take them 2 out, and put 2 of these young, vivacious young men, even if you make them ministers of state, I don't care. Right? So you take a fella like Jomo, because Jomo's like Omo, you make him Minister of Immigration. Bam! Then you slide Barkas and you make him the Minister of State of Immigration under Jomo so he can get some polish, because Jomo apparently is one of their rock stars. Boom! Now you got a 2-man drill over there. Right? Basil McIntosh is the Minister of State in the Ministry of Tourism and Aviation. Right? So you grab a fella like Leo Lightburn and you say, boom, you go right underneath there. Now you got a 2-man drill running over there. You always had a 2-man drill. But now you got 2 fellas with new international ideas sitting at the cabinet table.
Okay, I got you now. I got the gist of what you said. However, I agree with one of those, McIntosh.
Mm-hmm.
He can be moved, as right away, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you have the leader of the opposition stand up, going head-to-head with the Prime Minister in Parliament last week, and he is going to say to the Prime Minister that your ministers, some of your rookie ministers, right,
Mm-hmm.
are doing a better job than you. He has given the government an A.
Yes, I agree.
So if that wheel is moving and is moving along smoothly, why would you, in the middle of the game, shift up or move around? You said yourself, if the FN, what's your party name?
The FNA. I'm leader of the FNA.
If you all don't win this, they have a good chance of winning it.
Out of 2 feet, yeah.
So why would you change the game in the middle of if you're heading to the win?
Because
that's all I wanted to
I can answer that. Sure, thank you. Let me answer that. It's because when you're up by this much, caller, you could give your 6 man some time. It's called, what they call it in basketball, Cam, something management, athlete management. Yeah. LeBron James ain't need to play 42 minutes if we up by 35. You could take LeBron out and give him 6 minutes on the bench. It don't matter if we lose 10 points.
Oh, and by the way, ma'am, the FNA is not a real party.
Dude, you had a woman say it. Hey, man, I ain't listening to you. We got T-shirt. I got you. Don't make me cue up my jingle in here. Let's take one more call before we go here, before the spiritual advisor make me play my FN song. Hello, caller. Welcome. Welcome to Freedom March. Hang up on them. Let's take another one.
Hello.
Yeah, turn that radio down.
Hello, listen.
Hey.
Spiritual advisor.
Yes, sir.
What your cell number is?
814-6096.
Okay, I don't want to talk nothing bad but Bacchus. I can call your cell later on.
Yeah.
And I can give you all the information. I live in South Beach for 2 years, and I seen the last time I saw him was last Father's Day.
I'll make
when
sure
he invite me to Father's Day, I get a plaque.
I'll make sure he sees you. Just call me.
All right, well, that's our time. You had a jingle. Let me in the show over. I'm Levan Miller. We'll see you here again tomorrow.
If it's the Lord's will, we'll
right
be
here
back.
on Freedom March.
Good evening.